All right, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, I is back. When I said I was going to hit the little girl's room, I wasn't kidding because I did an entire pot of coffee during the main show with RJ, and that had caffeine in it. Yeah, my doctor won't be so happy with me about that. Um, but here I am, and here with me is Mr. Puffalophagus. Hi, how are you? How are you? How are you? If
Doing
there's
good.
anybody else over on the side that wants in, oh, please, 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 please let me know. And I'm going to send out a couple other links to people I can think of. And then there's little there's little Sylvia here, who's always in on the chats. Yes, she is. She's a good kitty. Oh my, oh my. So what you up to, sweetness?
Oh, I'm just like I wanted to, I was so happy to see this episode because like I'm one of RJ's top donors, so
Oh,
like on
yay!
his Patreon. So like it took me a little while to get up there, but I just had to make sure I had all the money squared away because like he's actually paying his like you are, right? Like if you had a Patreon, it would be like perfect because like he's paying his bills. He's like it's like making sure he's got enough heat. Heat and oil to get through the winter and stuff like that.
Well,
So like
actually, I do have a Patreon, but I have to make sure that I don't make too much.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, the disability, I forgot.
Yeah, but no, that's no big deal because I mean that's why I keep my tiers to $5 and less. I'm thanking everybody who has donated so far. By the way, I'm making about $20 a month, which isn't a bad thing. Just as long as none of the disability people and the other stuff give me a hard time about it, we'll be okay.
Well, I
And
figure as long as you don't open up a discreet Instagram account, nobody on Twitter will dox you to the IRS. You'll be fine.
there you go, there you go. The interesting thing with all that is a lot of people have suggested, doing a donation site and everything else for my upcoming medical bills. And yeah, that's a little on the difficult side because of all that government subsidy stuff going on. Last thing I want to do, for example, is lose my housing, which I live in Section 8 housing, if you're familiar with that stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. I grew up across the street from what we call the projects, the Rojects, because I was born and raised in Las Vegas. So
Ah,
right across the street. This is the thing. My mother had basically a carte blanche check to buy any house she wanted because my father was Navy, and so she got the VA dollar down loan. So she rode in the neighborhood during the day and said, wow, that house looks nice." She didn't come to the neighborhood during the night.
yeah. Okay, I got you. Um, I haven't lived in one of those neighborhoods. I mean, the neighborhoods I've lived in the last 30 years, they're not the best neighborhoods in town, even at high noon. But yeah, I do know that there are some of those neighborhoods where they look pretty good at 10 a.m., but around 10 p.m., the story's a little bit different.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
You wouldn't get out of your car at 10 o'clock at night.
yeah. Um, and it's unfortunate the way things work with Section 8 is all the stuff is in the less than savory neighborhoods because I remember I grew up in a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio, known as Parma, if you're familiar with that at all.
No, I'm familiar with. I know that Cleveland, Ohio, like, see, because I'm from the streets, so I know that Cleveland, Ohio, it's rough because I'm Bone Thugs, East 1999, and so like,
Yeah, the old man had a store on the east side of Cleveland, which was the really really rough side. This is where you had the riots in 1968, Huff, Glenville, that sort of thing. And then he had the house in Parma, which was lily white. Um, as a matter of fact, if you look up Alan Ruck, you see that he grew up in Parma, Ohio. Well, he and I were high school classmates. So this was, the nice neighborhood, because he'll say that he grew up in a pretty decent neighborhood. And yeah, he did. Because we both did. But yeah, you go to the east side of Cleveland, east of the Cuyahoga River. It was not fun at all, especially after about 1966. So I mean, here it's not all that bad. I just wish, and this is the really weird thing, I wish I was still living in the neighborhood I lived in before I moved here. Because even though when I moved into that neighborhood at first, 3 people were shot and killed within the first week of my living there, it was still easy to get around because it was in Central City. It was in the city of Pittsburgh. I could just hop my bicycle, go pretty much wherever I wanted to go. Here, it's a township called North Versailles, and the only way in and out is a state highway, US 30, with 40, 45 mile an hour speed limits, and only 2 buses that go in and out. So I've tried bicycling US 30. I will not do that again because 4 people tried to run me off the road. It was really, really fun stuff. And basically what I'll do now is I'll go to the Squall Mart on the other side of 30 with my bicycle, strap it to the front of the bus, go into, okay, go into an area near where I used to live called Edgewood. And I can get off the bike there and then go around here, there, and everywhere. That's not a problem.
See,
I'm just.
and like that's a plight that I'm familiar with because like I was born and raised in Las Vegas. It's like we have this nice grid pattern layout for our streets. You don't have to take the main streets if you want to avoid the main streets. You can go down 10 blocks this way, cut up 5 blocks this way. Boom, you're back where you wanted to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I moved to Georgia for like 10 years. That was they're whoever the people they must have gave out free beer to the road crews. They're like, here, go find a way to put these roads out here, and the natty ice is on us. But the Midwest is where I live now, and it is ridiculous because you bust out Google Maps and they'll have 4 different paths, and it'll be like the shortest path, 17 minutes, the longest path, 17 minutes.
Okay.
So like every way to go, there's 4 different ways to go, and every single one is the same amount of time. It doesn't matter.
Around here, it's crazy. If I want to go to the Target out in one of the neighborhoods I used to live in, maybe about 10 years ago, which is the closest Target, it's about 6 miles away, it will take me 2 hours to get there because of the way the buses run.
And see, that's the thing is, like, I don't know how buses run there, but like in Las Vegas, you have an eastbound and westbound or a northbound and a southbound bus on every street, right?
So like not here.
Here now I live in the Midwest, which is, in Iowa, and the bus only goes in one single loop. It's one direction. It's like a one-way type of loop.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, like, it goes around town, but here's the deal. If your bus stop that you're trying to get to is 4 stops before the bus stop you're getting on from...
Oh, no, you've got to go all the way around.
Entire loop.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So what should be in another city a 20-minute bus ride is a 2.5-hour bus ride.
Yeah, around here it's not quite that bad because you do have the bi-directional bus routes. You will go inbound, outbound. That's the main thing. We've got this sort of hub and spoke thing that a lot of cities do. Even Cleveland, when I was growing up, had where you here in Pittsburgh and in Cleveland as well. Downtown was the hub, and you had the various spokes going out to sections of town and even some of the suburbs. So if you were if I'm in North Versailles right now, and I want to go to Carnegie, which is west of here, across the Ohio River, then I'll hop a bus, I'll go downtown, get another bus, go out to Carnegie. Um, but to try to go crosstown, yoy, you go nuts trying to go. There are one or two crosstown routes, but otherwise you've got to go uh, start where you are, go into downtown, and then come back out to go to a place that's only 3 miles away from you.
Yeah, that's the type of deal here. So like if I wanted like there's a bus stop in front of my house for 4 different routes. But if I wanted to go to the library, which is 2, 3 blocks away, it's gonna be a 45 minute to an hour bus ride. And I could probably walk there in 20 minutes or 30 minutes.
Right, and that's one of the things I've got going right now. There's a city near here called Monroeville, where some of the specialists I see have their offices set up. The and to walk there would be about 3.5 miles, which I could do on a good day. But with some of the appointment times and everything else, okay, I have to call a taxi and go there because to try to do the bus, Monroeville's 3 miles away, but I have to go downtown. I have to come back out. That's 3 hours easily.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I can't do that. So come July, when I go see the nephrologist, I will have to call not so much a commercial taxi, but we call it Access out here. It's a transportation system for people of limited means and sometimes disabilities and that sort of thing. Um,
Yeah, we have the same type of thing like in Las Vegas. Even here we have it where it's like the public bus system. You sign up and you basically you have to schedule your rides ahead of time. But the bus, it's like a smaller type of bus,
mm-hmm.
come to your house or to like the corner near you, and it'll pick you up and then it'll drop you off. But you better be on time.
Yeah, that's the way this one works here. I'm trying to remember. I don't think I have the name of the place written down. It's not Access, but it's similar to that. I have the phone number just so I don't lose it, because I've got to call them so I can get the bad news in July. Um, that's a damn fun one. Um, Yesterday I got some news from a friend of mine. She got the word that she's got about 5 years left.
Mm,
She's 35.
that's terrible. And see, that's I know that fear because my wife is like 33 now, right? And maybe about 4 months ago, 3 months ago, like she's been going through this thing where she you know, at one point was on her cycle for 7 months, like constant, you know. So like, and then like we ended up getting that fit.
Wow.
Yeah,
You're talking anemia here in that case, aren't you?
yeah, bad. And the thing was, the whole time, she's taking a bunch of medicine stuff. So we thought, whatever. Well, the doctor scared us and had us thinking she was gonna have liver failure and everything. We went through
Well,
rough times.
that's Cassia's problem. She's in the midst of liver failure. Um, so, in the next few days, what I want to do is give her another call and see if she wants me to come by. I did see her last week. She works downtown. She's a waitress at one of the high-end restaurants in the cultural district, and she's still working because she has to, um, which is really really sad because she's lost 50 pounds since this whole thing has begun, and she doesn't have the 50 pounds to lose.
Yeah, and that's what the thing is. It caused my wife some kind of like some digestive issues or whatever, and wasn't eating. She lost, I think it was 60 pounds in 4.5 months or 5 months.
Yeah, not fun.
And especially when you're bigger, your body's already burning a lot of calories constantly. It's just a matter of fact because you're moving your that much weight, your body's burning a lot more calories. Period. And I was worried because I know like I follow people that try to lose weight like Boogie and stuff like that. Boogie 9829 or whatever, 9899 or whatever. And so like these people, the one thing they say is you can't lose the weight that fast because it
Right.
does bad things to your body.
It'll really screw you up. Uh-huh.
And in the case of like Jim Sterling, his body tried to eat his pancreas.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and and so that's one of the things I ran in. I was like, I'm worried. And then like the doctor's like, oh, basically like tried to like scare us to death. Oh, she's going into liver failure. And like I'm looking up for liver failure, and like you said, it's 3 to 5 years. I got a limited amount of time, and they say, oh, if you're at risk in these other factors, overweight, blah 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 blah, the time is shorter. I was freaking out because I'm 31, and I'm like, oh, this ride that I'm supposed to be on for 50, 60 years is going to end real short.
Yeah, and that's the damn thing. And I mean, this is why I really want to get out to see her soon, because I really want to talk to her. I want to sit her down and talk to her. And then she's already told me that she's processing right now, because okay, I'm gonna try to not take anything away from her when I say this. I know what it's like to get the news that your tenure is not quite as long as you thought it was going to be, because I haven't got the total news yet, but I've got a pretty damn good suggestion that I don't have that much time left either. And I do want to sit down with her and basically talk it out with, hey, do you want someone around to give you a hand with shit you're not going to be able to do pretty damn soon? Because I don't see her being able to work a couple of years down the road and that sort of thing. We're going to have to talk this shit out and see what happens from there. But we've got a little bit of time to talk this over, and I just want to start it up and see what happens with it. She is the person. She's the person who had Christmas dinner with me. Within hours of meeting me, it was really weird and beautiful at the same time. Do you listen to the Thinking Atheist podcast very much?
No, I haven't. I don't really listen to too many podcasts. Like I try to like catch a lot of more light stuff because I'm just moving all the time, and I'm trying to
Okay.
catch up. I feel like I'm so far behind because I'm like following people like RJ and you and stuff like that, and I'm like, I understand there's a 50-year, there's a gap of 20, 30, 40 years of extra life experience, right? Of time to soak up all this knowledge, but still my brain is like, we're behind.
Well, what was really interesting a few years ago, Seth Andrews, had a podcast to show something. Trying to remember what the title was. Something about heathens for Christmas or something like that. He interviewed me, and for some reason, a lot of people just took notice of me and started calling into him with, "Hey, let Diana know that we're behind her," and a couple people sent me small Christmas gifts, which was really amazing. I mean, just $1 or two value, but still, it was a real pick me up. But a woman from northern Pennsylvania called into him and said, "Hey, look, Seth, my daughter lives in Pittsburgh and is at least as queer as Diana is. They would probably make some rather good friends. Would you let Diana know about my call and get things going?" And it turned out that, okay, I was in a really shitty mood Christmas Day, and I had bought a turkey, and it was sitting in a defriginator. I had thought it, but it was one of these I really don't feel like roasting the damn thing. And finally, I convinced myself, okay, I'm going to roast it. And this is like 8 p.m., something like that. And then I'm sitting at the computer doing various things. And Cassia sends me a message via Facebook. Said, "Hi, my mom is the person who told Seth about me, and hi, how are you?" And we were messaging back and forth. And then the timer goes off, and I happen to say, "Hey, hang on, my turkey is done. I need to go pull it out of the oven. You hungry? And it was just a joke that I was saying, are you hungry? And she comes back with, what, are you inviting me over? And I'm thinking for a half a second, sure, why not? She comes on over for Christmas dinner at about 10 p.m. And we sat there having the most wonderful Christmas dinner I had had probably ever. And that began a wonderful, wonderful friendship. And I have a pretty good connection with her as far as that goes. And this whole news has really hit me hard. Not quite as hard as it's hitting her, mind you. But I mean, I want to give her whatever support I can, and we'll just see how that sort of thing works out. And it's just because she's going to kind of be high and dry out here because her mother had already planned on moving to Phoenix when she retired. She's on her way out there pretty soon, and then when one of the rooms in the house burned and totaled the entire house. It's really weird. The damage was confined to one room, but the cost of repair is more than the value of the house. So now her sister is going to go with her mother, and Cassie is by herself out here. And it's like, no, we can't have that. You keep in contact with me, for fuck's sake. And we just wanted to see about how that's going to work, because I don't want her to die alone.
Yeah.
Because I know how it feels, man. A lot of the couple of live streams I was on when the news first hit, my thought was, I don't want to die alone.
Yeah. And that's the
you know how
thing.
that feels. So we're going to see how that works.
Well, see, that's the thing is that that's one of the things that I have the biggest problem with because, like, it's like I'm always the one that does get sick or doesn't, like nothing happens. So like right now, like one of my best friends, he's dying of cancer. He
Oh
had,
no!
yeah, he came down with testicular cancer,
Oh,
and
shit! That's what killed Zappa.
but it was late. It was late stage. They didn't catch it till late stage. And the problem with testicular cancer is, as we all know, there's a lot of veins, a lot of blood flow in that area. So it's
And it
very easy.
metastasized, right?
It got into the blood and it moved through his body. And so now he's doing heavy chemo. But the worst part about it is this fucking administration tore us apart because he he got soured by the Trump punch.
Yeah.
That's the way I could say it. He got carried away into the hate, right? And so it's like built this wall of division between us, and now my friend's dying.
Not good.
It's like
Ooh. Sorry about that. There was a little bit of a muscle cramp going on there.
oh,
It happens when you get old.
okay, yeah, be scared.
Piece of advice: don't get old. It isn't worth it.
Oh well, I'm already old. I worked labor jobs. I see that's the thing. So to get out of Las Vegas, I was at a point where I was too wrapped up in the streets, and my brother had already got out, and he gave me an opportunity. He was like, "Hey, I'll give you a bus ticket or a plane ticket if you go ahead and quit your job, get the hell out of there, just leave it all behind." So I left it behind, but the consequence to that was I went into a job where I worked for 8 years, 6 days a week, 10 hours a day, for 8 years with no vacation.
Oh Lord! I know those. Yeah. When I was slave labor for my old man, that's the kind of thing we did. He had a store. Um, I don't know how beverages are sold in Iowa. He had a beverage store. It was beer, wine, snacks, that sort of thing. And I was slave labor from the time I was 9 years old, and we were doing the whole, 14 hours, 6 days a week. That's during the summers. That's what I would do, because I wasn't in school. So of course, work the kid. Not fun, not fun, not fun.
Yeah.
But let's see what else we got going over here.
But yeah, so like back to but on that whole evolutionary thing that you're doing, what's funny is like what people don't know about RJ is he is super accessible. Like
Yes.
you can get a hold of him all over the place, and so like me and him are friends on Facebook, and
Uh huh.
uh, so, I've been dealing with this whole thing. Like, I have a lot of anti-vaxxers, anti-climate change, anti-evolution, anti-fact people that, because I'm from Las Vegas, so from Nevada, it's pretty. People would think, okay, Las Vegas, the most technically savvy city in the world. We could figure out a marketing ploy to get anybody to come visit, right? Like we can do it all. And
Mm-hmm.
yet at the same time, it's a pretty Hoboken state. Like you got to understand there's like okay, I don't think there's even 4 million people in the state of Nevada. 2.7 million live in Las Vegas.
Okay, so Las Vegas essentially is Nevada,
Yeah, yeah. Like
with a
as
side
a
of
matter of
Reno, right?
As a matter of fact, it created a huge division, and it was like the state government decided to basically punish the city of Las Vegas as much as they could after the initial Obama election because the entire state voted red except for Las Vegas, which Las Vegas was once all of Las Vegas was Clark County, right?
Uh huh.
And so one county in the entire state outvoted the entire rest of the state and gave all the delegates to Obama. And so they were so mad because you got to understand this is a state, we have a town there that it is a requirement to be a citizen of that town that you have a rifle and a pistol for every member of your household.
So somebody actually went and did that because I've heard of people trying to do that, but
No,
this
this town has existed for 30 years.
fun. Now, how do
You
they go
have
about enforcing that? I want to know.
because and that's my thing is this, okay? They don't want the government or the law enforcement or anybody to know that you have guns in your house, right? But part of this requirement is you have to have your guns registered with the local law enforcement to prove that you have them. I
Uh
think
huh.
it's idiocracy 101. It's
Oh
really
man.
not I don't trust government. It's I don't trust that guy in government.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's always what it's been. It's not never that they don't trust government, it's that I don't trust the government that I think of. And so
Right.
like with RJ, like I was having an argument with my uncle who of all things doesn't think water expands before it turns into steam between the ice phase. He thinks that water as a liquid does not expand when heated.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I mean, not only does it expand when heated, it expands when cooled, but that's another story.
Right, right. But what I was trying to explain to him is that the effect that a 1 to 3 degrees Celsius rise in the ocean temperatures, how much of a swell in water ocean level that's going to be.
Right. I mean, not only do you have the melting ice at the poles, you have the water taking up more space.
Right, the
Yeah.
water that's a lot of water to heat up and have all that water just expand a little bit. But that's a lot of water.
And especially when you're in Florida, uh, because you get, a 6-inch
Or
rise in
or
sea
you
level,
know,
the entire state is going to be underwater.
or if you live on the Andaman Islands and you're 30,000 years behind the rest of the people on the planet.
Mm hmm.
And your entire island is 7 feet above sea level.
Yeah, which is actually happening on the barrier islands around the Carolinas. There were some areas off North Carolina where ecologists and biologists were scrambling like hell to get their work done because these islands were sinking. Well, they really weren't sinking. The water was rising above them, but you get the point.
It's
Uh,
sinking, it's sinking.
yeah, and I read this article some years ago, maybe about 5, 6 years ago. So I don't know how things are right now. I haven't looked that closely, but I probably should because those barrier islands and things like that are a damn good indicator of where we're headed. And I'm going to say this much, and I know people don't like to hear it, but sorry, but it's the way I feel. I'm kind of looking forward to dying
And see that
because
you're not going to be around for
you
the
got
horror
it.
age.
Yeah. And you hate to say things like that because, number one, a lot of people don't want to hear, you want to die. No, no, no. We want you around. We want you around. And then the other thing is, you're cheating. You're dying out from under us, and you don't get to put up with all the shit we have to put up with. And I'm saying, yeah, well, that's the point.
Well, and see that's the thing is,
It's not
yeah,
that I don't care. It's that I'm going to get to miss the food wars, and I'm going to get to miss everything else. It's like,
yeah, as hard as I fight, I'm not able to turn the tide. And why endure that?
you know,
Like why endure that? It's crazy.
I'm
Cause
still.
like,
Hmm?
cause like, so like I was watching your thing last night on when you guys were talking about the LGBTQ, like
Oh,
what
yay, yeah, on
transgender people go
Jay's
through.
stream.
And
Yeah.
you guys were like, one thing that I was like, you guys all were like, I wish I was cis one day. I wish I was cis one day. I was like, yeah, no, you guys wish you were cis like Chads, because like, there's cis guys like me that are like, you know, our whole life, right? We've been not manly enough, or not a dude enough, or not a guy enough, or things like that. You know what I mean?
Well, it's
Like
with.
and the thing is, I know you guys get it in the public, but it's like we get it from the people around us, like closest to us, in the most private and the most intimate ways. Like in moments that matter, they're like, "Yeah, don't worry, it's just because you're not a man enough." I
Well,
got this for you.
our stuff was. I mean, we just wish
And
that
but,
shit
no,
would
and it's not the.
match.
Yeah, no, no. It's like you guys get in the public, and I hate that. And the thing is, like the other day, like I'm arguing with one of these Trump tards. What do I call him? I don't care. That's what I call him. But I'm arguing with him, and then he's like, just because I'm like advocating that, transgender people, everyone in the LGBTQIA movement, they deserve rights. They're people,
Well, people
and
deserve rights. Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
they don't deserve to be singled out and treated, in a egregious manner, right? And he's like, so you identify as part of the movement, and I'm like, and it made me very
no, it
angry.
doesn't work that way. I mean,
I'm like,
to
you
be
don't
an
have to
ally doesn't require that you be
part of the group,
one of the people you're supporting. Yeah. I
right?
mean,
And
what they're
and that's
trying to
what I tried to
do.
explain to him, and I was like, and it's like, and that's why I'm like, but it's weird because like, it's just like how like they say like alpha males or whatever, but it's like to just be like a guy that's like, I'm a little bit sensitive, or a little care about stuff or whatever, and they're like, well, that means that you're gay, and I'm like,
Oh,
well, no,
please.
I'm like, it doesn't, but thanks.
Well, and the whole thing is what they like to do is throw this stuff around as if it was a horrible thing.
And that's
No,
what I try
it's
to be
not a
like.
horrible thing to be sensitive. It's not a horrible.
Logs me back up.
Okay, it's telling me waiting for accounts.youtube.com is over. And I'll put a frowny face on there. And where are we? Where is the. There it is. There's a good frowny face. Okay, then. All right. So